All right, so get this. We're diving into Pinotage today.
Yeah.
We are talking South African winemaking at its finest, and I, for one,
Absolutely.
am so ready to get into this research.
Yeah, you've assembled a really fascinating collection of articles, tasting notes. It really seems like we're ready for a deep dive here.
I'm ready with my glass, but before I even pour the show, tell me a little bit about where Pinotage comes from, because I feel like this is a grape shrouded in mystery.
Well, what's interesting is that it has a real birthplace, unlike,
Oh.
these ancient European grapes where it's kind of lost to the sands of time.
Right.
Pinotage is a true original born and bred in South Africa.
Okay, it's spill the tea. Give me the origin story.
Okay, so picture this 1925 Stellenbosch University.
Okay.
Professor Abraham Isaac Harold, a visionary viticulturist,
Mm-hmm.
had a crazy idea.
Okay.
He wanted to create a grape that could thrive in the South African heat, but still produce world-class wine.
That sounds like a tall order. What was his strategy there?
Well, he decided to combine the elegance of Pinot Noir with the hardiness of Sinsalt,
Mm-hmm.
which is known for handling warmer climates.
Oh.
It was a gamble, but it was one that paid off.
So he's like the mad scientist of wine, just whipping up a hybrid grape in his lab?
Exactly like that.
Wow.
A true hybrid. And that's what gives Pinotage its character.
Speaking of character, the tasting notes that I dug up mention everything from juicy berries to tobacco and coffee. I mean, that's not your typical wine profile.
Well, that's the thing about Pinotage. It really is like a chameleon in a glass.
Okay.
You can be so many things depending on where it's grown and how it's made.
Okay.
So you might find a younger Pinotage that's bursting with like bright cherry raspberry, really fruit forward, almost like biting into a piece of fruit.
Okay, that sounds delicious.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. But then you said tobacco and coffee, and I'm a little
That's not.
intimidated, but also intrigued.
So those are going to be more as the wine ages. Those develop the fruit flavors deepen a little bit. So you might get more like plum or fig.
Mm.
And then you get those really interesting secondary aromas, the dark chocolate,
Right.
the espresso, smoky tobacco, maybe even a little leather.
Leather. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
This is an experience I'm starting to realize why people say it's such a sensory adventure.
Is
But what really makes it different from other red wines when you get down to it?
one word tannins.
Okay.
Pinotage is known for its robust tannins,
Mm-hmm.
and they give it structure, they give it aging potential.
Okay.
They're really the backbone of this wine, and they give you that kind of dryness, that satisfying dryness on your tongue.
That makes sense. So it's got those bold flavors, it's got those firm tannins. It's not a wallflower
No,
in the wine world.
not at all. But it can be surprisingly elegant too, especially when it's from Stellenbosch.
Stellenbosch. I kept seeing that region pop up in my research.
Yeah.
What is it about Stellenbosch?
Well, Stellenbosch is kind of like the Napa Valley of South Africa. It's known for producing some of the most elegant and complex pinotages that you'll find.
Wow.
And you can really taste the mountain air and the granite soils in the wines.
It's incredible how the environment can impact the taste so much.
Terroir,
Yeah.
the soil, the climate, the tradition, it all goes into it. And Stellenbosch has really made its name on Pinotage.
So Stellenbosch is the place to go for that like classic Pinotage experience.
It's a great starting point, but your Pinotage adventure doesn't end there.
Okay.
There are other regions in South Africa that are producing some really amazing wines, each with their own personality.
Okay. I'm ready. Give me the inside scoop on these other Pinotage hotspots.
So let's head east to Paarl, known for its warmer climate and those clay-rich soils.
Okay.
Pinotage from Paarl tends to be a little bit bolder, more fruit-forward.
Yeah.
Think ripe, blackberry plum, maybe even a hint of spice.
Ooh. I do love a spicy wine.
Yeah.
So we've got elegant Stellenbosch, gold Paarl. What's our next stop on this Pinotage road trip?
Well, for a region that's really shaking things up, look no further than Swartland.
Okay.
This is a bit wilder, more rugged.
Okay.
Hot, dry days,
Oh,
beautiful granite and schist soils.
wow.
Swartland Pinotages are known for their intensity, their structure. They're really brooding, age-worthy wines with some serious tannins.
It's just wild to me that a little change in climate soil can completely transform the wine.
It really speaks to Pinotage's adaptability
Yeah.
and the artistry of the winemakers, coaxing these different expressions out of the same grape.
Speaking of the winemakers, are there any standout producers that you would recommend people seek out, the ones that are really, pushing the boundaries of what Pinotage can be?
Oh, absolutely. For a taste
Here.
of Pinotage history, you got to try Cannon Cop.
Okay.
They've been producing these really iconic, age-worthy wines for decades.
I've heard whispers of these bottles. Legendary.
Yeah. They have a reputation for a reason.
Okay.
And then there's Beierskloof.
Okay.
And they actually are a winery completely dedicated to Pinotage.
Wow.
They're the Pinotage experts, and they're really showcasing the grape's versatility.
I'm adding that to my list right now.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned earlier that Pinotage is like a chameleon when it comes to its flavor profile. So
Okay.
break that down a little bit for me. What are the different styles that I might actually find out there?
Well, you can think about it almost like exploring different genres of music.
Okay.
So you have your classic Pinotages, like those can cup wines that we were talking about.
Mhm.
All about tradition, complexity. They age gracefully. They reveal layers of flavor over time.
As a fine wine should.
Exactly.
But then there's like the new generation, right? Breaking all the rules.
Exactly. The modern expressive styles are all about showcasing that vibrant fruit, that freshness,
Okay.
meant to be enjoyed young,
Okay.
bursting with those juicy berry flavors and that touch of spice.
Okay. So we've got our classic jazz. We've got our like indie pop. What about something a little more sophisticated?
You must be talking about barrel-aged Pinotage. This is where it gets really fun. Because aging Pinotage in oak barrels, often French or American oak, adds this whole other dimension of flavor.
Okay.
Vanilla toast coffee, even dark chocolate.
So it's like adding a splash of bourbon to your chocolate cake.
Exactly. It adds that layer of richness and complexity, and it's just really captivating.
I bet that's the stuff that gets the wine smumps really excited.
Okay.
But what about those of us who like to mix things up? How does Pinotage play with other grapes in blends?
Pinotage is a fantastic blending partner
Okay.
because it has that structure. It has a unique character. It can add depth and intrigue to Cabernet Sauvignon, to Shiraz, even to Merlot.
Wow.
It's like adding a pinch of exotic spice to your dish.
So it's not just a solo act, it's a team player.
Exactly.
I am really starting to understand why Pinotage is having a moment right now.
It is a grape with momentum,
Yeah.
and winemakers are realizing its potential, and they're pushing those boundaries.
Okay.
It's not without its challenges.
Challenges. Okay. Yeah. So what are we talking about? What's holding Pinotage back from complete world domination?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is perception.
Okay.
You know, there are still some wine drinkers out there who associate Pinotage with some of those earlier examples from the past.
Okay.
Maybe the wines that were a little rough around the edges.
Yeah, it's like that band that had the one-hit wonder back in the day, and they're trying to make a comeback with a totally new sound, and it's like, come on, guys, give it another listen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And luckily,
Yeah.
the quality of Pinotage these days really speaks for itself. I mean, once people taste it,
They get it.
they understand.
Yeah.
But then, of course, there's the challenge that every wine region is facing.
Right.
And that's climate change.
Yeah, that's not going away.
No, it's a reality. And it's something that these producers, particularly in regions like South Africa,
Mm-hmm.
which are already prone to drought, they've
Yeah.
got to think about.
Yeah, you can't just like crank up the AC in the vineyard.
No, exactly. You can't control the weather.
No.
It takes real ingenuity. It takes resourcefulness. And we're seeing a big rise in sustainable practices. Things like drought-resistant rootstocks,
Yes.
water-wise irrigation,
Okay.
even using cover crops to help retain moisture in the soil.
I love that. Yeah.
These growers are committed to preserving the land for future generations.
It's not just about making good wine, it's about making it in a way that respects the planet. I love that. And it just adds another level to like appreciating what's in my glass.
For sure.
But, you know, with all this talk of challenges and innovation, it sounds like the world of Pinotage is in this really exciting state of evolution. So where do we go from here? What does the future hold for this grape?
I think the future of Pinotage is really bright.
Okay.
There's a new generation of winemakers who are so passionate about this grape,
That's awesome.
about showing its versatility, pushing those boundaries, experimenting with different terroirs, different oak treatments, even blending it in new ways.
It's really cool to see a grape kind of have this moment, you know, like this resurgence. So
Okay.
what would you say to someone listening who's like, okay, I'm convinced I need to try some Pinotage. Where do I even start?
I would say be adventurous.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to step outside your comfort zone. Explore,
Yeah. Yeah.
Really look for those small, independent producers
Okay.
who are really pushing the envelope, and most importantly, have fun with it.
Yes.
Discovering wine is all about the journey.
I love that. I think that's the perfect note to end on, like you said at the beginning. Pinotage is an adventure. It's got a story. It's got personality. It's a taste that captures like the spirit of South Africa. So cheers to that.